The St. Louis Cardinals suffer one of the most, if not the most, disappointing loss so far in 2024. Plus, the latest on top prospect, Tink Hence, leaving his last start early. We'll get into it all on today's episode of Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafford, and I'm a national radio sports anchor born and raised in the Lou and a lifetime Cardinals fan, and I'm your host for Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. You can follow me on Twitter, X at JD Sports Radio. Follow the podcast at LO_Cardinals. I want to thank those of you who make Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day, free and available wherever you get your podcasts. We're also on YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment, interact with us, and hit that notification button so you know when the new episodes are posted. This is a show serving Cardinal Nation and giving the best fans in baseball all of the info about the birds on the bat. Today's episode is being brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB. Use the code, which is all in lowercase, by the way, LockedOnMLB, for a first deposit match up to $100. No need to sugarcoat this one. No need to start today's show with happy, joy thoughts and positive statements to make ourselves all feel better about what we just saw on Thursday night at Busch Stadium. The St. Louis Cardinals dropped the ball. Dropped the ball on Thursday in an odd game. Like, when you look at everything that went on in this game and how they lost it, it leaves you scratching your head a little bit. You're just like, what? That's how that game went? But it's an embarrassing loss at home with your ace on the mound against a Colorado Rockies team who had lost 5 in a row, just got their butts kicked by the Cincinnati Reds in Colorado. 21-40 on the season coming into the game. And you lose? You lose to that team? By the way, they're now 1-3 against the Rockies and the White Sox. What? Can't lose to these teams like that. Luckily, 3 more games to face the Rockies and make up for what just happened on Thursday. But, you know, we can whine and complain about the umpiring. His scorecard came out today, and 87% accuracy, 88 is league average. But just about every miss that he had last night, Scott Barry, who's who I'm talking about, it went against the Cardinals. So they give you like a little, I wish I had downloaded it to show you guys, but it gives you like what the run difference is because of the calls that were made or not made. And it was plus 1.42 in favor of the Rockies. Cardinals lose by 1. You know, it seemed like anytime a bad call did happen, it went against the Cardinals, and it came at an inopportune time. I mean, he was not that great behind the home plate, especially for the Cardinals. Like, a lot of calls going against the Cardinal hitters, a lot of strikes not being called for the Cardinals pitchers. And it happens. Like, and you can't just sit here and blame the umpiring. I mean, you expect better at this level, but the bottom line really is that when your offense goes 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position and you leave 10 men on, you are not going to win many baseball games. It's not the umpire's fault. So let's not use him as the scapegoat. We can whine about him because it's fun. And I like making fun of the umpires when they're, when they suck, because they don't ever have to answer for anything, like the strike on Mason Wynn in the 9th inning. Like, what was that? You don't call the strike against Jake Cave. What was that? What were you seeing? I just want to know. But anyway, really, the offense was the problem. The hitting with runners in scoring position, it's been historically bad all season. I heard Bernie Miklasz go on a rant the other day on KFNS. I think that's where he's at. And just shredding the Cardinals and telling it how it is, how bad they are with runners in scoring position. It continues to be a part of the reason why this team just can't get over the hump. It's why they're not better than 500. It's why they're not even a 500 team right now. To continuously miss out on opportunities again and again and again with runners in scoring position, it really is the biggest reason why this team continues to lose a lot of baseball games. They're hitting a whopping 209 after last night with runners in scoring position on the season. Second to last in the league, ahead of only the Chicago White Sox, who are at 206 and just lost, I believe, their 14th game in a row. Nolan Gorman, love the power. Love the possibilities of Nolan Gorman moving forward. He's been swinging a hot bat lately. We know that. He's hitting 128 with runners in scoring position this year. Paul Goldschmidt, 173. Alec Burleson, he's been wonderful this year, right? Last year, nobody wanted him anymore. This year, everybody's like, dude should be batting second and third for the team. He's hitting 213. Runners in scoring position. It's been a problem all year. It was a problem again last night. And until somebody figures out how to do some damage with runners on second and third, this team is going to continue to be a very frustrating team to watch. People have been giving Arenado grief all year. I've been one of them. I've been pretty hard on Arenado because I expect him to be the guy that you're paying $30+ million to be. Like, I expect him to be hitting 285 with, 30 home runs and 100 RBIs at the end of the year. He leads the team in hitting with runners in scoring position at 289. That's very respectable. New was at 281 before he got hurt. Mason Wins at 265. Ivan Herrera, 250. Donovan's 244. And then it dips big time to Wilson Contreras at 217. It's been a problem. And I don't know how you fix that. I don't know if, because sometimes you see them swing at the first pitch. Sometimes you see them be patient and they take too many pitches. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the cause of the problem is, but they got to figure it out eventually because it's killing this team. And it wasn't just the offense last night that had some issues. Sonny Gray, he's your ace. He's your go-to guy. Couldn't get through the fifth inning against a team who on the road is a bottom 7 team in hitting. And I do want to give the Rockies some credit. Like, they are a Major League Baseball team. And last night they were very disciplined at the plate. They really were. Had some eagle eye vision going on there. I even hit up Paul Holden. I was like, is this the most disciplined game you've seen the Rockies as far as how their at-bats are going? And he's like, definitely one of the best, if not the best. I mean, they weren't chasing anything. Nothing. And it ended up working out well for them. They get 5 walks in the game. Hell, they only had 4 hits. They only had 4 hits in the whole game. Third inning, they get on the board. Thanks to an 11-pitch at bat by Jake Cave, who should have been struck out on pitch number 6, but the call doesn't go Gray's way. Cave keeps battling, works the walk. A very professional Major League at bat. I mean, 11 pitches, man. That's rough on a pitcher. Then a single puts runners at first and third. Then you get a ground ball. The Cards think they turn 2-1, but Blackman beats it out at first base by a toenail. The run scores, and it's 1-0. And the fifth inning is where things really unraveled for Sonny and the Cardinals. So we're gonna spend a little more time talking about that particular inning. And I've got something else I want to just point out. I don't want to say it's a complaint, but it's something I want to point out that's going on with the Cardinals that pertains to what happened in that fifth inning where things just kind of went sideways for them. So I'm going to talk about that next with you coming up on Locked On Cardinals. Life insurance is an important safety net for you and your family. The last thing you want is for something to happen to you or a loved one and just not be prepared. Be an awful spot to be in. And it's happened to a lot of people in this country. Policygenius is the country's leading online insurance marketplace, and it makes choosing the right policy for your family. It makes it easy, and it makes it quick. Your time is precious. We know that. That's why Policygenius wanted to make sure that what they do for you, that it's convenient, and it's time-saving. Policygenius helps you easily compare your options from America's top insurers in just a few clicks. They've got the award-winning agents that are going to walk you through the process step by step. And with Policygenius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Think about what your family could do with that if, heaven forbid, something goes wrong. Some options offer same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exam. Your work life insurance policy, it may not offer enough protection for what your family's needs are. And it may not come with you if you have to switch jobs. And Policygenius has no incentive to recommend one insurer over another. That's why you can trust their guidance, because they're just trying to find you the best deal. They don't care who it goes to. They don't make any, they don't get a kickback for it or anything. They got thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot from customers who found the best fit for their needs, and you can do it too. Get peace of mind by finding the right life insurance with Policygenius. Head to policygenius.com or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day and have to turn down the volume because they keep shouting at each other? Make the switch to Lock On Sports today. Right now, do it. It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel, and it's programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories and give them to you without all the screaming. Locked On Sports today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news. You know, NBA Finals, Game 1 was last night, Boston Celtics. I know it got it closer later on, but they pretty much kicked the tar out of the Dallas Mavericks last night. Stanley Cup Finals coming up this weekend. So lots to talk about. Of course, your Major League Baseball. You've got the French Open is going on right now. Streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Remember, you can catch every pitch of the Cardinals' hometown broadcast throughout this weekend with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Cardinals. And thank you for making Locked On Cardinals first listen every day. Leave your comments on YouTube as well as on Twitter, X, anytime you want. That feedback always welcome and encouraged. So let's focus on the 5th inning from Thursday night's game here real quick, because that's where it got bad, right? And it's not like the Rockies went nuts and scored like 8 runs in an inning or something, but things just got weird in the 5th inning. You get the leadoff single by Doyle, then there's a flyout, then a stolen base. Jake Cave walks again, this time on 7 pitches, but one of the balls is a pitch clock violation. So that's weird that happened to Sonny Gray. Then Doyle and Cave successfully pull off the double steal, which makes it 2nd and 3rd. That's a huge play in what ends up happening in this inning. You get a ground out, scores 1, and then you get a wild pitch. Both of them come in. Ball never leaves the infield. The Cardinals' inability to hold runners on well and keep them from stealing bases is another problem that continues to pop up over and over. And it's been this way since Wilson Contreras got hurt. Teams are just abusing them left and right, specifically Ivan Herrera when it comes to the running game. They just take off whenever they want, really, and the Cardinals can't do anything about it. Ivan Herrera's throwing arm, it's not good. It's not accurate. It's not strong. He's been a good catcher behind the plate. Like, he's not making a bunch of errors. They do have 12 wild pitches, by the way, with Herrera back there. So maybe that's the thing, that he's not blocking enough stuff. But, you know, the pitchers seem to like him. But the Cardinals as a team have thrown out 8 would-be stealers and have given up 45 stolen bases. Pedro Pages has thrown out 2 of 5 since he got called up. That's 40%. Contreras threw out 3 of 9, 33%. Those are great, right? Those percentages are fantastic. Ivan Herrera has thrown out 3 of 39 would-be base stealers. 8%. 8%. Combining that all together, that's a caught stealing percentage of just 15 for the Cardinals, which is tied with the Rays and the Rangers for second to last in the league. Mets and Cubs are at 13%. League average, 22%, FYI. So, Pages has been fine since being called up, but he's your backup. Contreras, normally your starter, is going to be out for a while. Ivan Herrera is getting abused. And I love the kid as a hitter. He looks like he's going to do some damage every time he's up there, and I like that. He's aggressive. I like his attitude. But they got to figure something out with the stolen bases against here. The Cardinals are tied for last with the Cubs with those 8 caught stealing. And I know we've been spoiled with the Yadier Molina over the years. I know that. One of the greatest of all time to do it. But this is part of the game where the Cardinals are also missing Wilson Contreras. Of course, we're missing his bat in the middle of the order. One of the best hitting catchers in baseball. But teams are running wild on Herrera and this pitching staff. Now, the 45 stolen bases they've given up is actually at league average. But since Herrera has had to take over full time, it's been pretty bad. 8% for Herrera. Only one guy who has played in more than 30 games at catcher is that bad. And it's Martin Maldonado from the White Sox. It was also at 8%. He's only thrown out 2 of 25 would-be Steelers. And I wish I had some answers. I wish I could tell you, here's what he needs to do, or here's what the pitchers need to do to hold these guys on tighter. MLB went in this direction where they want people running the bases more. But a lot of other teams have been figuring out how to keep people closer. Cardinals haven't gotten to that yet. They haven't figured it out yet. It's just something that the teams have been able to take advantage of when they get on base against the Cardinals, and it's costing the team. Like having those stolen bases last night, 3 of them in that inning, cost the St. Louis Cardinals big time. And then on the other side of it, the Cardinals don't hardly do any running. They only got 31 steals on the year, 4th lowest total in the league. So back to the 5th inning. So Gray walks the next 2 hitters, right? His command just poof, it's gone. And that's when Allie comes out and gets him, brings in Liberatore. Final line for Sonny, 4 2/3 innings, 3 runs, only 2 hits, but 4 walks, 5 strikeouts. He throws 89 pitches. And again, just kind of hits a wall in that 5th inning. The Cardinals made it a point this offseason. They wanted to get guys who, this is the blueprint, 6 innings, give up 3 runs or less, and we'll let our bullpen do the rest. And lately, things haven't gone to plan when Sonny Gray is on the mound. Sonny Gray has only completed 6 innings once in his last 6 starts. Once. He's now 3-3 in those starts. Does this go back to spring training when he got hurt and he's not, built up enough stamina where he's starting to get tired already? It's something to throw out there. He's not using that as an excuse. After the game, he was visibly upset when talking to the media. Most of the time when we've seen Sonny Gray, he's, had a pretty decent game and he's pretty chipper about things that have gone on. After this game, he was not in a good mood, was very frustrated and upset with himself with how things have been going for him personally, saying, I pitched like poop is another word for the word he actually used. He cursed. It's a trend. I'm turning in the wrong direction. So I've got to come in and come up with a plan moving forward and get back on track. On what might get him back on track, he said this, off the top of my head right now, I just feel like I've got to go back and start from the beginning. Go back to the basics. Force contact early. Strike 1. Force guys to put the ball in play early. Get back through the middle of the plate early in the count. Not trying to be too fine early. Just get back to the middle. I would assume he's talking about trying to, thread the needle a little bit on the edges too much where he's falling behind hitters instead of just getting ahead of them. Like Sonny Gray's stuff's good enough where they're probably not going to barrel the ball up much against him early on in the count anyway. So I wouldn't be trying to do that if I was him. And again, strikeouts, as great as they are as a stat, strikeouts, they add up when your pitch count, when you're talking about your pitch count, when you've got to throw at least 3 pitches the perfect inning. I remember my dad saying this once. He goes, what is the perfect inning for a pitcher? And I was like, 9 pitches, 3 strikeouts. And he's like, no, 3 pitches, 3 outs. And I remember him telling me that as a kid. I'm like, yeah, I guess you're right. Strikeouts are great when you get them, but they add up on that pitch count so much. And Sonny Gray has got a lot of strikeouts so far this year, but you don't always need that. And I know the defense has been a little bit lately, but letting guys put the ball in play and being able to keep the guys on the infield alive and fresh and alert, It's good too. It's good too. What did Crash Davis say in Bull Durham when he's talking about strikeouts are boring? Throw some ground balls. Remember that scene? Anyway, moving on to more of the quotes from Sonny Gray. Everything seems to be better for me and more in my favor when I'm getting ahead of guys early. The best way that I've done that in the past is just shoot right down the middle of the plate. I do feel like over the last probably couple weeks, we've been going to more edges early. Now, am I worried about Sonny? Not really. Not really. I think he's just having a few off starts. It happens. It's okay. You hate to have it happen against a team like the Rockies where you expect to get a W. I mean, Gray even talked about how this happened to him last year in Minnesota. And that season worked out pretty nicely for him. Second in the Cy Young voting. So I'm not going to freak out about what's going on with Sonny Gray just yet. Not yet. Ollie talking about Sonny's outing last night after the game as well said, that game started off, he was pretty sharp. Then he punches out those 4 in a row and you feel good about him, kind of hitting another gear and getting going there. But when you look at the fastball command, he's usually a little bit better with the fastball, landed it half the time. That was one of the differences in tonight's game. Higher walks than you'd expect from him. Lynn Worthy over at STLtoday.com put out an article, and he kind of went through the percentages and how the fastball strike percentage, how it's diminished for Sonny Gray over the last few starts and stuff. So pretty interesting read. You should go check that out if you get a chance. But, at this point of the game, you're down 3-0. Your ace is out of the game. And if there was ever a sign that the Cardinals weren't meant to win this game on Thursday, it was in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Matt Carpenter leads off and gets robbed of a home run on the first. Was it even the first pitch? I don't remember if it was the first pitch or not, but I know he was the leadoff hitter. Right fielder Michael Toglia, who I probably has never robbed a home run in his entire lifetime. I believe he's a first baseman more than he is an outfielder. Leaps over the wall in the right field corner and brings it back. What would have been a solo shot and would have got the momentum going in the Cardinals' direction again. Just, what do you do? What do you do? Cardinals do score on a goofy play in the 6th inning with runners on 1st and 3rd. This was some Keystone Cop stuff going on here. So you got 1st and 3rd, 1 out. Herrera grounds it to where the second baseman normally would be. But because the whole team was shifted over, not illegally or anything, but they were shifted way over toward the left side of the infield, the first baseman, Montero, who's a huge man, comes all the way over and cuts it off because that ball was destined for right field. If it gets past him, Cardinals are scored. Here we go. But he cuts it off. Makes a nice underhand toss to the shortstop. They get the out at second. Shortstop throws it away at first base. All right, pitcher's covering over there. Throws it away. It ricochets off the dugout, comes right back to the pitcher, who then guns it at home trying to get Nolan Gorman. Luckily, head first slide into home plate, which I never think is a great idea, but Gorman did it, and he was safe. Just chaos. Just chaos. Like Little League stuff right there is how they get that first run. Then you get back-to-back singles by Carp and Ciani to drive in Herrera. It's a 3-2 ball game, and now you're thinking, hey, Cardinals got this whole comeback thing in the bag, no problem. But Wing grounds out on the first pitch, which drives me nuts. New pitcher comes in, and you swing at the very first pitch. Trying to ambush it. Come on. Make him throw some stuff first, man. Pressure's on him, not you. Cardinals get 2 flyouts from Goldie and Gorman in the 8th inning. They fall just short of the wall, as if there was like some magic Rockies wind god out there in center and left center field, just blowing the balls back towards the field of play, especially Goldie's. Now, Gorman's I thought was going to carry out too, just because of how strong Gorman is. Goldie's I thought was gone. Like, I don't know what happened and how that ended up staying in the yard, but it did. And then they get some runners on. They get Goldie on in the 9th, but Gorman whiffs to end the game. Goldie standing on first. Cards lose 3-2. Everything about the box score in this game says the St. Louis Cardinals should have won this ball game, except the most important thing, the score. Just a real disappointing loss all around. Are we going to let it bring us down and ruin our whole weekend? Hell no! Got City Connect jerseys to wear tonight. So, no, you get back on that horse and you try to get a W tonight. Cards did get a scare about top prospect Tink Hence Plus, there's one player I'm getting very concerned about that I want to talk about. Also, quick shout out to the bullpen, to Liberatore, John King, Roy Croft. Outstanding job. Shut down the Rockies for the rest of the game, but offense couldn't get going. But you guys did great. Roy Croft, very, very impressive with those 3 Ks. Anyway, so we'll talk about Tink Hence. We'll talk about the other player I'm concerned with next on Locked On Cardinals. PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the PrizePicks community today. NBA and Stanley Cup finals are here, and they mean more on PrizePicks, and so do the star players. You'll get boosted payouts on select basketball players that you just won't find anywhere else. And there's no better way to cash in on all the Cardinal baseball action than PrizePicks. You can add your favorite players from the diamond, whether it's the Cardinals or other teams, to your PrizePicks lineups all season long. Austin Gomber on the mound for the Rockies. We're going to get an Austin Gomber revenge game tonight against the Cardinals. I hope not, but if you're feeling like he will, strikeout's kind of a big deal. Maybe you can look into that. RBIs, home runs, stolen bases. Take your pick of more or less and add them to your PrizePicks lineup today. And you can now win up to 100 times your money with baseball-only lineups on PrizePicks. If you submit a winning lineup featuring 4 Demon Squares, you'll cash in big time on the biggest moments of baseball's early season. So download the app today. Use that code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, download the app. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy with PrizePicks. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channels app. So the Cardinals had a bit of a scare this week. Bit of a scare. I know I was nervous. I was like, oh boy. What is going on with Tink Hence? All right, so top pitching prospect Tink Hence. I'm sure you're familiar with him by now. Having an outstanding season at AA Springfield. Completes 2 innings on Wednesday. 1 run, throws 5 pitches, and then is taken out of the game. First, people are like, oh, is he getting called up or something like that happening? And then we get footage of him walking away with the trainer to the clubhouse. And you're like, oh boy, what's going on here? And at the time, it was unclear if Hence's early exit was due to an injury. Like, we just didn't know. I mean, you walk away with the trainer, you're thinking injury. So it kind of had us all holding our collective breath. But John Mozeliak made the announcement that it was just precautionary due to some cramping. You know, it's summertime. It's getting hot. You got to stay hydrated. You got to make sure you got all the fluids in you. Tink Hence, just dealing with some cramps. That time of the month for Tink Hence, maybe. Okay, that was a bad joke. Anyway, nothing to get alarmed about, which is great. Okay, and I think the thing about it was that people are so used to our top pitching prospects going down with injuries. Over the years, it's happened so many times, and their careers just getting derailed by like massive injuries that we all just thought the worst right away. So it's great to hear that Tink is going to be just fine. Going to be just fine. People keep asking me too, when do I think he's going to get called up to AAA? Is that what you mean? Because he's only in AA right now. So he's still got to get to Memphis first. And I would suspect, maybe sometime after the All-Star break, if he continues to pitch the way he has, that he'll get the call up to Memphis. But I wouldn't expect to see him in the major leagues this year. Hopefully they don't need him in the major leagues this year, that the team will be fine moving forward and you don't have to call him up yet. There is someone I am getting very concerned about, again, who's not doing so well, and that's Dylan Carlson. Now, before you start getting mad at me and yelling at me like, why do you always pick on Dylan Carlson? I'm not picking on him. I get it. He's not receiving everyday playing time. I get that he is coming back from an injury. My question is, it's not that Dylan Carlson isn't a good baseball player anymore. My question is he actually healthy? Is he actually healthy? Did they bring him up because they needed him so bad? Like, was he ready? Or did they need him so bad to fill that void as like that fourth, fifth outfielder that they rushed him back? Because without Jordan Walker on the team, they had that empty spot out there. I mean, have you seen his at-bats? And it doesn't matter lefty, righty. He's just not doing anything when he gets a chance to play. And people who get upset that he doesn't get enough playing time, well, when he does get a chance to hit, he doesn't do anything. So why would he earn more playing time? Dylan Carlson has 6 hits and 54 plate appearances. All of them are singles. That's a 128 batting average. He walked 6 times. He has struck out 14 times. He does not have an extra base hit. He does not have an RBI. And when he does hit the ball, it doesn't go anywhere. Like, there is no power to it whatsoever. Again, limited plate appearances, but his average exit velo, 81.1. Barrel percentage, 0.0. Like an Animal House. Not good. The bat speed, 69.3. That's below league average. And I refuse to believe that Dylan Carlson just stinks at the game of baseball. I refuse to believe that. We just saw this guy 2 months ago in spring training raking like that prospect he was supposed to be. I've always said it seems like a confidence thing with Dylan Carlson. But right now, I don't know if it's so much confidence, but I wonder whether or not he's actually healthy. I just don't know how sound his body is right now. And it's kind of good that the Cardinals don't need to depend on him right now. They got Donnie, they got Ciani, they got Burley holding down the fort most nights. But when you get like tonight's starter, Austin Gomber, left-hander on the hill, be nice to have that right-handed hitter do some damage like Dylan Carlson has done in the past. He's normally crushed righties. So I'm just something to think about. I just want to see the guy do good because, like I said, I refuse to believe that he is just past the point of no return and he's like just no good at baseball anymore. It's just over. I refuse to believe that because we just saw it in spring training, hitting for power from both sides of the plate, looking good, looking fluid, looking strong, looking confident. I think that dude's still in there, and I hope we get to see him soon. Austin Gomber against Lance Lynn tonight. I hope it's not a Gomber revenge game. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, please give us a follow on Twitter, X, at @LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Please help our channel and love for the Cardinals grow. We're getting close, guys. We're like 100 subscribers away from 10,000 on YouTube. So if you have not subscribed on YouTube yet, I would love for you to be a subscriber. Just got our girl Haley from Locked On Blues to 1,000. Let's get me to 10. Let's get me to 10. Make a new account. Let's get me to 10. You're the best fans in baseball for a reason. Let's bring home a winner tonight. I'll see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.